to know which way Nigeria is heading to.
Yes, which way Nigeria is heading to. Solutions 93.9 FM is the station. And of course, political update is the show this Monday afternoon. Monday afternoon, yes. That's what we do on Monday afternoons between 4 and 5 p.m. on Solutions 93.9 FM. Monday, the 10th of July. Yes, I like to remind you again, it is very, very important. And I remember that came up in our conversation yesterday on Pendulum with Oloya Adegboyega. And he talked about planning, and not just planning. You make when you prepare your plan, you have plan B, and of course, I think there's always a need to have plan B too. I won't call it plan C. So, you should review your plan. You should review your plan and anticipate. It is good to have a plan. And that plan must be in black and white. It must have deliverables. And those deliverables, I tell you, must be timed. Any plan that is not timed, that by the first month, by the second month, by the third month, I should be done with this or should be doing this. If it is not timed, I tell you, it is not planned. It is not planned. It is just, they are just mere thoughts and mere fantasy. So we should constantly remind ourselves that. And you remember the saying, tick tock, says the time. When did we start 2023? This is July. When did we start July? Today is the 10th. And another 10 days to be changed. Another 10 days, July will be over. As I'm speaking to you, I am speaking to myself. Don't just think I'm saying it to you. I'm saying it to myself too. My name is Ayodija Jishokwe, presenting. Yes, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be with you. This is Political Update, and our mandate here is to keep you very well informed about happenings in Nigeria's political space, so that you have a necessary as full as possible. Because when it comes to politics and politicking, you may never have full information. But we will try and give you adequate information that will help you to make what they call informed judgments and informed opinions and informed decisions. Yes, there are quite a number of issues. One of these is the expectations in the political space now for appointments of a cabinet. We're hearing that the president will be appointing a cabinet of 42 and that there won't be junior ministers, ministers for, ministers of, and ministers in. We had that in a particular regime in this country. But even at that, it is being expected that there will be 42 ministers or thereabout. And there will still be special advisors. That's a heavy one. But the president will have to pay political IOUs. That's what they call it. So the ministerial slots will be for the politicians, some politicians, and some special advisors will be. In fact, we were told that the special advisors will have cabinet rank. And when they have cabinet rank, that means they're not just going to be spectators when they attend Federal Executive Council. When they have cabinet rank as special advisor, they will be participating. They will be contributing to conversations and processes in the Federal Executive Council. Those are special advisors with cabinet rank. Therefore, if you have 42 ministers and there are 20 or 15 special advisors of cabinet rank, you just add 42 to 15. And of course, we have 57 and probably or even 60 ministers. And we keep talking about the cost of governance. Those ministers, you can check the schedule. It is available online. Even for those who are in the National Assembly, what they are entitled to in terms of domestic staff, in terms of domestic staff, then special assistant, personal assistants, and all of that. And of course, they will be provided with a motorcade, DSS, protocol officer, police, and all this body. Yet, people are saying the optics. You remember the president's what was called the presidential motorcade, which of course was not a presidential motorcade. But you see, the issue is that What people believe is what they say. That is what the Yorubas call Gania Fiji. The Yoruba, I don't know how Yorubas got that. Of course, Gania Fiji is not Yoruba. Yeah, Yorubas call it Gania Fiji Iroi Koto Afojuba. So what they see is what they believe. So when they see a government motorcade flying past, SUVs, 8-cylinder SUVs, a governor goes by in about, some of them as costly, or maybe I should say as cheap as 250 million. I've seen South governors riding 300 million Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Lexus. I mean, these are armor-plated vehicles. For God's sake, if you are elected by the people, is it the people that elected you that want to kill you? These are big questions it shouldn't be standard procedure riding armor-plated vehicles. These are huge costs. You will ride it for 4 years. If you are elected, they will buy another one. When you are leaving office again, you will be gifted another one. I mean, this cost is so huge. And then we have governors collecting 500 million. I don't even think any governor collects 500 million for security votes anymore. In these days of insecurity, some collect $1 billion for insecurity. And of course, nobody audits such an account. You can now imagine a governor collecting $1 billion every month. That is 12 billion. And yet, other things still go on. This cost of governance, it's a heavy burden that the people are asking. What sacrifices are you, the leaders, going to make or making when you continue to ask we, the people, tighten your belts, sacrifice? Since the days of Obasanjo started we have to tighten our belts. Of course, that was a military parlance. They started the tightening of belt, and then austerity in the days of Shagari, and now it is the days of Tinubu. It is sacrifice. Of course, when you sacrifice the life of the people, when you offer a sacrifice, I mean, let's even go spiritual now. When there are challenges and you consult spiritually, they will say sacrifice, in the traditional parlance. When you offer sacrifice, there's a prescription. This is a sacrifice. You buy this, you buy that, you go and put it somewhere. When you offer that sacrifice, relief is expected to follow. So, when these sacrifices are being made by my Nigerians, what relief is coming? We are not hearing of relief. We are hearing of palliatives. I don't particularly enjoy the sound of that word palliative, because palliative is the kind of care for the dying, and I don't know whether we mean Nigerians are dying, and what they deserve is palliative care to sustain them till they die. That word palliative crept into our lexicon during the COVID era. I do hope the media people, or even politicians themselves, should find another word rather than this issue of palliative. Yes, it's some relief, but what kind of relief? So be that as it may, that is the issue of expectations of appointment of ministers. What quality of ministers? People are hoping that this president will appoint and put what they call round pegs in round holes. I'll be back shortly. Do stay tuned.
tell people I'm a full-time master student and a content creator, they go, huh? How are you able to do both all at once? You bewitch? No be juju. Na MTN 5G. Ever since 5G came into my life, I've been on cloud 9. I get to take my classes online in real time and upload my videos before you say Jack Robinson. Even Babe isn't left out. Our long distance is waxing strong.
Hello, babe. Can you hear me? Your video is frozen again.
We don't do that here, because life is a breeze.
Experience the wonders of MTN 5G, hyper-fast internet connection with no buffering, zero lag, and quality data capabilities like never seen before. Available on broadband and mobile. MTN, Nigeria's #1 5G network. What are we doing today?
John,
What's up?
check your phone. I just send you Momo referral.
My mama don't run that one for me since now. Me say for the 5 who I go refer, make a quick hammer my million.
Hey, you too fit be one of the 12 millionaires for the Momo Refer and Win promo. To win, dial star 671 hash to sharply open your Momo account and select option 6 to refer family and friends them. After that, make sure say them open Momo account and use them recharge airtime or data at least 100 naira. Chicken, the more people where you refer, the more you go win. If you not see out of 12 million naira every week, you fit to chop out of 25 million naira.
Momo Refer and Win promo. The more you refer, the more you win. Promo go run from June 15 till August 9, 2023. Terms and conditions they shall.
Hey, my name is Alex. I've been a content creator for a while now, and I always try to innovate to keep my audience entertained and engaged. When 5G came into Nigeria, I thought it was all noise, like the normal hype, gang, and all that noise. But boy, was I wrong. Because I've hosted virtual concerts, partied with my followers in the metaverse, created skits with creators in other countries without ever having to leave my room. I can shoot a movie without being on set. Hey, now that's a godsend. With all the money I've spent on cabs this year, if there's one thing 5G has done right, I would say it's made it easier for me to do me.
Change the game with MTN 5G. It offers hyper-fast internet speed, seamless buffering, and applications that can only be possible via its quality data capabilities. Available on broadband and mobile. MTN, Nigeria's #1 5G network. What are we doing today?
Yo, what's up?
Do not touch that dial. You know the radio you tune to, it's your Remedy Dial 93.9 Solutions FM. Your #1 Remedy Dial. Wati wati wati.
Yes, thank you so much for staying with us. Still Solutions 93.9 FM. And of course, Political Update is the show this Monday afternoon. Yes, of course, it is the Monday, the 10th of July. Before we went on that break, we were talking about the expectations in the political arena, and not just even in the political arena. The business community, investors, manufacturers, and all of that, they are waiting. The markets, the economy has a way of reacting. Look at the parity that was introduced in the foreign exchange market, where there was no longer IE windows, where preference was given to people, and then some were buying from the black market. And then the issue of the removal of subsidy. We saw how the markets reacted. The stock market has been very, very, very positively bullish in that regard. Therefore, the people who will be put in charge of the economy, finance, central bank, budget, planning, and specifically also the issue of the minister of, will the president be the minister of petroleum resources, or will he appoint a minister? And what kind of a minister? Is he a professional? Will he just be another politician? And then what happens to NNPC Limited? All these things will determine. And when we're saying the stock market has been bullish, it means the confidence is growing. It is expected that investments, the one they call foreign investment, foreign FDI, will flow in. And then, of course, those who are in diaspora will not take their dollar through the back door. They will go through the banking system. And all of this, of course, will result in availability of volume of foreign exchange, rather than the central bank saying they are defending the naira, like they're fighting a war, defending the naira. Of course, they're not defending the naira, they're defending their own pockets. Because when I give somebody $1 million at 4.30, he just takes it round tripping, they say, he just take it to the black market, and without lifting a finger, they were making billions on weekly basis. So this parity, but the impact of all of this is, hardship. Hardship for the people out there on the street. Our government says relief is coming. People are waiting. People are expectant. What relief? What relief? And how will the relief get down, trickle down to the man on the street, to the man in his village, and to the woman on our farm? So that's all regarding the issue of ministerial nominations expected to be sent to the Senate by the president this week or anytime from now, if it has not even been sent. So that's the impact that will have, expected impact. And then let's move to the National Assembly. That's another that we're talking about, the executive branch. We'll move to the National Assembly now, which is the legislative arm. Of course, you remember just a few, maybe less than 2 weeks ago, barely a week and a half ago, the Senate President in Akpabio was elected. So also was Abbas elected. And looked like an easy ride or a consensus in the House of Rep. But the ride for Akpabio was a tough one, as Yari kept on and fought till the very, 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 very end. And that looks like a polarized national, or a polarized Senate. And it is now time to share offices. Yes, 109 senators in the red chamber and 360 members, honorable members, in the green chamber. And the leadership of both chambers met and said, and when I say leadership means the APC, because they control, they control the majority in the Senate. They do not control the majority, as it were. They hold the largest number. When you tally the number of the minority parties in the green chamber, they are more, but they have the largest single block vote. Now, the leadership of the Rep and Senate decided that they are going to concede 50% of committee chairmanship. They're going to concede it to opposition parties. And people are saying, the members of the party are saying, you are from APC, how can you concede 50% of chairmanship of committees to opposition parties? And I said to myself, you don't get it. If you get it, you understand that the Senate president, especially, he has to stabilize the Senate. And the only thing, that guy, that Yari got 30-something votes, if he got 30-something votes, and the good number of the votes he got was from APC senators, and that's good enough number to start a mutiny. So, the next thing for the Senate president to do is to get those who are in opposition, YPP, even PDP, and Labour, give them committee chairmanship. Of course, anybody that gets a committee chairmanship, yes, those committee are graded. Grade A, grade B, upstream, downstream, defense, foreign affairs. Even defense is shared into Army, Navy, Air Force, and then you have public accounts, you have appropriation, you have all those, the ones they call diaspora, banking, you have all those committees. In fact, I'm sure you have almost as many committees as there are 109 Senate members. There are also the ones they call ad hoc committees. So, the Senate president, in political wisdom, pragmatic political wisdom, decided that it's going to be conceding 50%. They're going to be using that to stabilize their administration in the green and the red chamber. I bet you that in another 1 year, 18 months, or maximum 2 years, they're going to reconstitute those committees, and when they will have stabilized and taken good hold, firm grip of the Senate, know who is for me, know who is against me, everything, even if not earlier than that, everything will be shuffled, and of course, you can be rest assured that the number of chairmen of committees going to the opposition will certainly reduce. But the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, is not going to sit or sleep with his 2 eyes closed, because Yari is certainly himself not going to sleep. Yari and those who supported him, they are not going to sleep. In fact, it is on record that the DSS invited him, over the weekend. God knows for, we do not know, but everybody is saying, linking it to, the events that led to the leadership tussle and the election of the Senate president. So people should understand that it is the politics of survivor, and it is the way it goes in power games. It is the reality. Yes, so much so for the executive branch and the legislative branch. This man is in the news again. Do you remember the gubernatorial elections in Adamawa State, in which initially Mrs. Binani was declared the winner, and then it was said that there were supplementary elections to take place. And you remember him, Hudu Yunusa Ari, the resident electoral commissioner for Adamawa. He just went there and declared Binani the winner of the election without results. I'll be back shortly. Do stay tuned.
I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I chance to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to?
Which way Nigeria is heading to? I play it and listen to it so often, so persistently, especially in the last 18 months, 2 years, the run up to the election. And those issues, those questions remain unresolved. 39 years ago, he did that song. We move on. We're talking about National Assembly, the sharing of House committee positions, and why the Senate President and the House Speaker they are conceding 50% to the opposition. Of course, it is to stabilize. And of course, we've talked about the issue of ministerial nominations and all of that. We move now. We move to the issue that is not going away. Mesoma Ejimeke, the one who claimed to have scored the highest, obtained the highest score in the last JAMB examination. What really baffled me about the whole scenario was that she went to the Ministry of Education in Enugu, Anambra State, and challenged them that she was the highest scorer and nobody was recognizing her. I think she went in company of her father or somebody. They came out openly to challenge the authorities. That was when the Ministry of Education wrote to JAMB. And then that was when, I don't even want to reference it as the bubble busting. There was no bubble really. They were out there in the open. They just didn't know it. The father too was defending. He said, my child has always been very, very brilliant. But even in his initial submissions, maybe some questions were asked, and he was saying, I just provided her with money. I do not know where she registered and where she sat for. And I was alarmed at that point that these are gaps, parenting gaps, guidance gap. A father, a guardian would say, somebody, your ward registers for an exam as critical as JAMB that would determine his or her future, which way he was going to go or not going to go. You don't know where your ward registered. You do not know. The ward was going to depart home the night before, a few days before. You won't say, are you preparing? What is it? What are the things you need? When are you leaving? What time is your exam? And you see the child depart the following morning, not necessarily taking the child there. No, you don't have to. I mean, she is an adult. We have 15, 16-year-olds going out to take, But we heard the man saying, I made provisions. And that is what we see these days. Parents, these children, want to kill me? What is it that you ask for that I don't make provision for? Oh, that is not parenting. My wife incidentally called men that do that and say that I make provisions for every need or every of your need in this house. I make provision for them. My wife calls them donors, that they are not fathers, that they're not parents, that they are merely donors. It is not enough. Yes, we are running around. We are running around. For God's sake, on whose behalf you are running around, that is not the only thing they need. They need you being there for them, to guide them. The scripture says, the Bible says, if a father teaches, the father instructs and the mother teaches. Different roles instruct. That is like the chairman of the board. When you teach, that is like the managing director, policy framework. This is the framework in which we are going to be working, bringing these children up. And of course, the mother will now teach. This is it. This is the framework that we have agreed. But you teach the details. But some parents think that parenting is about providing material and physical comfort. What about moral and spiritual instruction? Bottom lines, I cannot do this. I cannot go beyond this bottom line. I worked in tertiary education for many years. And the moment I worked in students' affairs, I worked in faculties, the moment a student steps into my office and opens his or her mouth, 2-3 minutes, I knew where they were coming from. I knew the kind of background. You knew children who had what I call foundation. If a child that has foundation mixes up with children, other children, even if he or she strays, there's always the possibility of retracing your step. If you don't have a foundation and you stray further, no foundation, and then you stray further, and then which foundation are you going to retrace your steps back to? Nothing. That is why parents provide, yes, but material and providing material and physical comfort is not enough. Just this morning, today, in this Oyo State, I visited an academic institution. And a boy, I'd seen him last week there too. I went there, I had seen him there too. He had 2 certificates. And the woman, the man in charge was saying, how come you have 2 certificates? In fact, he had not collected his certificate. He did the usual thing that God knows why they do. You attended an institution, and rather than go and collect your certificate, he was using a third party. In short, he applied for a higher degree in another institution. Of course, they will do verification. Legit graduate. I don't know why you would do that. And I saw the parents that accompanied him crying. I said, there's a gap. There is a gap. Yes, some children will, still stray, but for God's sake, do the needful. And the father of this Ejimeke Mesuma, we saw the father apologizing on behalf of the girl. I do not get that. Because we saw this girl coming out by herself, defending her score, and telling her the entire world, and I called her, that I am not capable of forgery. So, if it has been established, and she said that it was a manipulation she did on her sister, so why should the father be apologizing on her behalf? Let her come out and tell her that this is forgery. These are criminal offense established in Nigeria's penal code. Of course, there's another one. There's a law, exam malpractices. It fetches 3 years imprisonment and 50,000 naira penalty. And of course, Nigeria's penal code too. Anything is listed there. For anything that amounts to forgery is 3 years imprisonment. And Nigerians are busy talking about she has learned her lesson. The 3-year ban is enough. Some are even saying the 3-year ban is too much. A girl that scored 249, legitimately, she was going to be admitted into a Nigerian university. Maybe not the course she applied for, depending on the university she applied to. Maybe she would have been even admitted to the program she applied for in that particular university. But it must be established what was the motive. We dance around issues, we do not address it. What was the motive? What was the motivation? There's always a motivation for crime, because there is something you're going to get out of it. So what particularly motivated her? And people are saying that she had enablers that it is unlikely. Somebody was still arguing this afternoon, but I was saying, well, you see, these children are probably smarter than we think they are. They are apparently smarter. It's not that we think. They are apparently smarter than we ever would think they are with all these devices. She didn't need nobody. And then somebody was saying the cyber car or whatever where she printed it. I said, what has that got to do with the person, the platform where she printed? She just bought airtime and then she used their space. She had done a manipulation on her device. So people should interrogate this. And believe you me, I think the law should take its due course. That is just it. It should just take its due course. You may wish to join the conversation. Before we went on a break, we were talking about the suspended resident electoral commissioner in Adamawa. We're still going to be coming back to that. Not that I forgot. We just had to take those commercials as scheduled. So I want to join the conversation this afternoon. When children engage, it's scary. For me, it is scary. It is scary because when you project from that location of admission, secured admission, what is she going to be doing when she gets admitted into the university itself? Maybe she will be hacking into the entire Center for Information and Data Management of the institution and changing her scores because she's not going to come lower. She's just going to step things up because she will be probably more knowledgeable about these things. So we should, I am not opposed. I am actually supportive of the law taking its course. But here in this country, sentiments, all sorts of silly sentiments. And you can imagine the dimensions, the ethnic dimensions that was even applied to all of that. Anambra, they are back. Anambra. You know, what has that got to do with Anambra? What has that got to do with Oyo State? What has that got to do with Lagos or Sokoto or anywhere? Human beings are human beings. It's as simple as that. And we're talking about crime here. What is the motivation for crime? Well, if you want to join this conversation, so many issues we have talked about. At least now, and then we'll go to the last one. 0909-888-9939. Solutions 93.9 FM is the station. I will take that number again. 0909-888-9939. The second number that you can call into the studio with 0912-222-2939. I will also take that again. 0912-222-2939. Solutions 93.9. The one they call Edazoro in Yoruba. Yes. Because it affects each and every one of us. You either have a niece, you have a cousin, you have a child, you have a ward. Watch them. You relate with them. You got to know what is happening to them, what is inside of them. There's always a window, I tell you. If you listen carefully enough, there's always a window into their hearts. There's always a window into their minds. They don't have to tell you in too many words. There's always a window into the hearts of each and every one of us. The few words as you may even speak will give me an insight into all of you, believe you me. Yes, we move on to the suspended wreck of Adamawa, Mr. Hudu Yunusa Ari. You remember him during the governorship elections? Elections were suspended. There were supposed to be supplementary elections. Supplementary elections held. And they said they were going to announce they announced some, and then they were going to announce the entire results, the remaining results later. And suddenly, the resident electoral commissioner for Adamawa, Mr. Hudu Yunusa Ari, who is said to be a lawyer, stepped in with the security agencies and announced that Mrs. Binani, a candidate of APC, had won the election without she announced results without figures. Announced governorship election results without figures. And of course, that caused a lot of confusion. Of course, Abuja headquarters of INEC had to step in, and of course, the man just so disappeared, so to say, surfaced all in Abuja. And from March 25, was that all we did in that election? March 25, this is July. And INEC was reminded what's happening. They said they were ready to prosecute him. And pronto, the man headed for a federal high court and secured an ex parte order that he should not be prosecuted. Of course, I'm not going to bore you with all the legal jargons, what an ex parte order is or whatever. But the long and short of it, as they say, is to delay, to prolong, and of course, at the end of the day, when all of this, you know, Nigeria, some of these things just flow into the backspace. Nobody talks about them again, and other issues come up, and then no matter how terrible the issue is, another thing will happen, and then that will flow into Nigerians' subconscious. Nobody talks about it again. That is, just watch the trend. One topical issue everybody will be shouting and screaming and have an opinion. No matter how bad it is, something else comes up. That one, nobody talks about that again, and then it is no longer an issue. But the man has gone to court. He has been granted an ex parte order, July 18, 8 days or thereabout from that. But the fact is that ex parte order that he demanded for was granted. An issue like that. But I remember the Chief Justice of Nigeria years back had to issue a warning to judges who are busy issuing ex parte order, granting request for ex parte orders, just like that. But we still have some of them being granted. I do not know which way this is going to pan out, but the man is out there. I think the police invited him at a point in time. Apparently, he's out there. He's not. He's a public servant, not a civil servant, and of course, he will be granted bail in either administrative bail or whatever form of bail. So that is Nigeria's political space, and there's an issue that is outstanding. It is the issue of national security. As we try to wrap up conversation this afternoon, it's going to be about national security. And this talk about national security is a prelude. It's a prelude, an insight into the conversation we're going to be having on political updates next week. When I say national security now, I'm not talking about external aggression per se, or the Boko Haram, or the bandits, or the Eastern Security Network, and even farmer herders clashes here and there. I'm talking about national security. We have had talks about state policing, and I was asking somebody this afternoon: do we actually think that state policing is going to be the solution, an all-in-all solution to internal security challenge in this country? We of course know that anywhere in the world globally, the police is the primary agent of internal security. The police in Nigeria, it is apparent that not today, not even yesterday, we have had the military being deployed in internal security operations since the mid-60s. I remember very, very well. I mean, in the middle belt, they were deployed there, to quell insurrection. We have had so many. Of course, we have had that in the southwest too. We have had that all over the country now. There's nowhere the military has not been deployed, and that tells us the state of the Nigerian police. I remember that up till the time Adewusi was IGP, and of course, the coup that brought Buhari and toppled that regime of President Shehu Shagari, the police the police was decently good. I can say that. And it was after that coup that the E branch that was responsible for intelligence was extracted from the Nigerian police and turned into NSO, Nigeria Security Organization, that later became SSS and is now being called DSS. And then another security organization that came out of that was Nigerian National Intelligence Agency of Nigeria, NIA. And the defense, yes, I think the Defense Intelligence Agency. 3, it used to be in the purview of the police. The police is the primary agency responsible for internal security anywhere in the world. The Nigerian police has lost that pride of place. It didn't happen overnight. Some are of the opinion that it was deliberate on the part of the military to decimate the police, as it were, because they almost, in the opinion of the military, they look like a threat to the military then, that they were even probably able to stop a coup from occurring. And that decline has put the police where they are today. It's so bad now that the police in Nigeria is virtually for rent. You want to do anything, you approach the commissioner of police or you approach a squadron commander of mobile police, you get as many as you want of them. We see policemen of the police. There is even an F, the police force. Nigeria police is called a force. There is no, I don't know any other police in the world that is called a force. You are to police us, and then you are a force. How can you police with force? I don't. Some of these things are so fundamental that we are going to be looking at national security from the point of view of internal security, policing Nigeria. And we will narrow it down. Is it just uniform men? How did we police ourselves in the days of old? How did we secure ourselves? And we're going to be narrowing that to something that came up during the conversation with our chairman yesterday here, the traditional institutions, the role of traditional institutions in securing, in keeping us safe and secure. So we're going to narrow it down because it's apparent that the local police, the community police, the state police that everybody is clamoring for a constitutional change is not an all in all, one bullet solution to security. It is not. And if we do not start looking at the value chain down the line, we will just discover that we are going to just be going around in circles. We now have the state police. Okay, so the state police will still be doing the same thing that the national police is doing. We have to look at things holistically. So that is going to be the discourse next week. So that's just a form of review. Yes, you so wish you can join. I can see people